was also a pianist, and he says, somebody said, well, can't I be the Dalai Lama? And he says, yeah, sure, if you want to just practice for a whole lifetime. And then he asked Michael Tilson Thomas, so how long have you been playing the piano? It was pretty quick, right? And he says, since I was 4, which means that he's been doing it for over 50 years. And so no wonder he is a master at it. But you see, you can persist and not do just one thing, because if you come up with the idea of what you're about, you persistently be that waking up. You persistently be that loving energy. So one of the things that we can do is that we can say, are you ready to challenge yourself? Because Michelangelo said the greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it, but that it is too low and we reach it. Now, if you've come close and you think, well, I did everything I've set out to do, time to stretch, time to expand your vision, time to grow and build perhaps that new dream. Because sometimes our dreams become a little too predictable, and if so, if you're like me, I sometimes have this thing called the machine dream. It's not really a dream, it's more like a little nightmare, but it's predictable. I'm inside of this machine and I'm supposed to make it go. That can't be life. So how can we go about using our science of mind principles to bring that dream to life every day? So I've got these 4 ideas, which will not come as a big shock to anyone here, because we saw some of it today. So one is pray and meditate. So you can pray on your own, and you can go to a class and learn more about our type of prayer. And I think last time I spoke and reminded that actually, if you have to, there's one really good prayer that you can just do over and over again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So if you do that and you have that gratitude, that's a very powerful prayer that keeps that dream getting more and more and more in focus. But sometimes we need quiet time. Listen to the water. Listen to all the voices, thoughts in your head, and allow the still small voice to come up and remind you whose you really are. So that you can say, remember that dream when you were 7 years old? Maybe it's time to dust off that old dream and bring it to life now. So you can do this with a practitioner, with friends. Any of you have a personal board of directors? Carolyn Mace is a great author, and she suggests that we should all create our board of directors so that we have a group of people that we can bounce things off of and help us when we say, I have this dream, and they can say, great. They can be our cheerleader, and sometimes they can say, oh, really? So tell us more. You know, not in a bad way, but just reminding us. So another way is to journal and vision. So I'm a writer. I love to write. And it's amazing. I found a bunch of old notebooks of mine. I don't know, about a foot's worth. And I looked randomly at one of them, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's weird. Some journals are not to go back to. But journaling helps move thoughts through our mind and gets them out on paper, because sometimes you take those and you put them on paper and you realize, that's odd. I didn't know I was thinking that. And it's a helpful way of bringing them out. Visioning is another practice that we do, and there's these questions that we ask. And one of them goes, what is Spirit's highest thought for my life, my dream, my purpose? You fill in the blank. And then, what steps? What is my role? How do I bring it about? Because you know what? We've learned over and over again that we do our part, but the universe is pretty amazing in meeting us if we're willing to be patient and show up wholeheartedly. You can't say, well, I sort of want this, Because then the universe says, well, then let me know. I'll come along when you're ready. What must I release? Because oftentimes there's this famous saying that says, well, to find what you're looking for, we just have to get out of the way. Because oftentimes it's us that's stopping us, just like that aiming too low, not believing. Those are the kinds of things that stop us. So sometimes we need to release our own negative thoughts about our dream, about our ability to achieve that dream, for that dream to be alive. And of course, you always end up by saying, and is there anything else that I forgot to ask? Because sometimes you get informed of things because you didn't even know what question to ask. I always, with my students, I'll say something like, there's the stuff we know, there's the stuff we know we don't know, and there's all the things that we don't even know that we don't know. Well, how are you supposed to ask questions about those? We're not even sure we can formulate the question. Spirit does. Knows how to come along and knock and say, well, what about this? But then it comes up to us to dream big and then move the feet, because that's what we say, right? Treat and move your feet. Because if you don't do your part, how can the universe possibly do it? Now, 1 Corinthians was a letter, and it said, let all that you do be done in love. So that could be your purpose. My purpose is to bring love to the world and wake up. Wake up who? Me. And if I'm awake, then I can be more loving. If I'm awake, I can see others as loving, even though they might be in their own way. So let's affirm this with passion and purpose and persistently do it. I am living God's dream now. I am living God's dream now. So when you see that and feel that, it has to come alive. It has to become the truth. So let's take that into prayer. Click. I come down because I'm speaking in the first person, so take these words as your own if they resonate. Because I know and recognize that there's really only one power, one presence, one purpose, one persistent power that pervades everything. And that power is in and through and as each one of us. It shows up as beauty, as thought, as creativity, as word, as dance, as good food on the table, as hot and cold running water. This power is everywhere, and so it must be right here where I am. I am a part of that. I am dreaming this dream. I am part of it every single day, every single hour, each minute and second. And so I know that this dream is unfolding in a perfect pattern. I know that the dream entails so much more than I can imagine. And I know that as I persist, as I move toward my passion, as I move and enjoy and expand my idea of my purpose, then the world becomes a better place. My life is a better unfolding. And you know, I'm just grateful for the knowing of this. I'm grateful for the truth that presents itself as me, as the world. And so I just send these words into the action of love and law, knowing it is already done. And we anchor it by saying, and so it is. Join me in this song.